Welcome back to the Best Business Practices podcast, powered by Lenders Plus Financial Firm and Partners. Today, we will be discussing how to establish a nonprofit 501c3. My name is Taryn Hanson, and I'm your host today. My NMLS is 9985575. I'm a mortgage loan originator for our in-house mortgage department, Lenders Plus Financial Firm and Partners. I also want to introduce a few of our employees. We have Mrs. Crystal Peasian, she's our intake specialist. And we also have Mrs. Shantae Black, who is our social media manager, all things social media and content related. I have a quick message that I wanted to play from Mrs. Black.
I didn't choose Tyran Hanson. Tyran Hanson chose me. She seen something in me that I've never seen in myself. She knew I can conquer anything as long as I put my mind to it. And that, in my generation, is what we need. Somebody who believes in us more than we believe in ourselves. Someone who will go above and beyond to help us get to the ladder of success. Not just get there, but actually climb it and maintain it and continue to elevate. Tyran has always taught me step by step on how to do things. She didn't leave me and just say, here's the information. No, she gave me the information. She made sure I understood the information, and she made sure I applied the information. We need more Tyran Hanson in this world. I absolutely love her, and honestly, I don't know where I'd be without Tyran Hanson.
Again, my name is Taran Hanson. My NMLS is 9985575. And let's dive into the mission of Lenders Plus Financial Firm and Partners and the Best Business Practice podcast, where we envision a future where every individual and family has the opportunity to achieve the dream of home ownership, regardless of the background or circumstances. We envision vibrant, sustainable communities where residents thrive, supported by equitable access to financial resources, innovative solutions, and collaborative partnerships. The vision here is to bridge the gap in home ownership disparities by providing trusted resources, competitive products, and innovative solutions. Through strategic partnerships and community engagement, we strive to create a pathway to homeownership for all, fostering inclusive and thriving communities. Key takeaways from today's slide deck is to determine eligibility and the 501c3 process, gathering documentation and information, access to the pay.gov website, selecting the correct form. So the form we're going to go over is the 1023EZ form. We also want to make sure you have access to a downloadable checklist PDF that will be listed somewhere around this slide deck. We want you to know your articles of incorporations, your bylaws, have a sample of that. And then our goals here at the Best Business Practice podcast. But let's get into today's topic, which is what is a nonprofit 501c3? A nonprofit 501c3 organization is a specific type of tax exemption entity recognized by the United States Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. The term 501c3 refers to the section of the Internal Revenue Code under which these organizations are classified. So that means to me there's a 501c6, 2, and it just depends on what you're filing is what a 501c3 organization entity is recognized. And we can get into those entails as the tax exemption status. The nonprofit organization with 501c3 exemptions are exempt from federal income tax on income related to their exemption purposes. This includes income from donations, fundraising activities, and other activities directly related to the organization's mission. Charitable purposes is another entail of the 501c3 organization entity. To qualify for a 501c3 status, an organization must operate exclusively for charitable, religion, educational, scientific, literary, testing for public safety, fostering national and international amateur sports competitions, and preventing cruelty to children or animal purposes. More of the entails of a 501c3 is the eligibility for deductible contributions. Donors to 501c3 organizations can typically deduct their contributions from their federal income tax, which encourages charitable giving and supports fundraising efforts. Also, the restrictions on political activities. So we want to make sure that you know that a 501c3 organization are subject to restrictions on political campaigning and lobbying activities. Engaging in certain political activities can jeopardize their tax exemption status. So we want to remember that a 501c3 is not a political activity. You can't do anything around that. You have to be nonpartisan whenever you are in a 501c3 entity. Now we have 501c that is for activities in political campaigning and lobbying, but not a 501c3. Also, another piece of that exemption is reporting requirements. Nonprofit organizations with 501c3 statuses must file an annual information return, which is a form 990 with the IRS to maintain their tax exemption status. This form provides financial information about the organization's activities and governance. Let's get into the legal aspects of setting up a 501c3. You want to make sure you have in your 501c3 corporate binder, you want to have your incorporation, the articles of incorporations or the bylaws, a list of your board of directors, so your directory, your contracts and agreements, the tax exemption status. Also, there's an application process with that. That's the ein.gov and it's free. The state registration, which and then your compliance and risk management. All of those things you want to have listed in your corporate binder. Remember, a corporation is an entity organized under a federal or state statute or a statute of a federal recognized an Indian tribal or Alaskan Native government. A corporation organizing documents is generally referred to as its articles of incorporation. A corporation must be incorporated under a nonprofit or a non-stock law of the jurisdiction in which the incorporations. Unincorporated associations formed under state laws must have at least two members who have signed the documentation for a specific defined purpose. Also, I just want to mention trust, which I don't want to go rogue on a trust, so I'm just going to say that also a trust can be established, may form a trust agreement or a declaration of trust. A trust may also be formed through a will when creating a nonprofit organization. We're going to today dive into the pay.gov website, and we're going to complete the 6 steps in the portal. Because I'm recording in our Canva, I can't just click this link, but I will have this link in the somewhere around this recording where you'll be able to just go directly in the pay.gov website. I'm going to do our articles of incorporation here in the state of Georgia, where I am located. So let's just this is a screenshot because I won't be able to go live into the website. Here you'll have a couple of hyperlinks. I suggest that you click on each hyperlink and save that PDF file. Create you a folder and write your nonprofit 501c3 name and make you a corporate folder, digital folder where you have all your information in one folder where you can access it when it's time for an audit. So the web page application overview, this is how whenever you create, you're going to also have to create an account from the id.me or the login.gov. After you create the account, then you will be able to get to this page. I already have an account created because that same account connects you to like sams.gov. It connects you to a few more of the portals that operates within our government websites, agency websites. So this is the beginning of, hold on, let's go back. We want to make sure that you're applying for the IRS 1023 EZ form. Once you click there, you go to next. you're going to go to this page. Again, like I said, save the hyperlinks. From there, you're going to be in the pay.gov terminal already, the streamlined application for recognizing exemption under section 501c3. So you know you have the right application. This application is going to be geared towards any organization that's being set up with less than $50,000. So on this form, the 1023EZ, which is what we're going over, you have to be establishing this nonprofit with less than $50,000. If not, you have to do the 1023 form. This is how you want to read the questions in its entirety and answer. So to move forward in this process, you need to check that you have downloaded and you've seen that you were eligible for the worksheet form. You don't have anywhere to upload this format, but you want to go over, look through the form, read through the form, just make sure that you are in the right spot. Then just make sure you click it because you're letting the IRS know that you look through this form and that you look for the eligibility worksheet. Right here is where it says that you're not going to have any gross receipts that exceed 50,000. You can hit no because you don't, right? If you do, you need to fill out the other form, but we're going to move forward with this form. Do you have total assets, the fair market value of each? I cannot even read this. 250,000. So this is talking about your assets, just making sure that the nonprofit doesn't have over assets of 250,000. I should have wrote notes on the side with that were bigger than this. This is going to be this is going to go down on this same application on step 1. You're going to fill out the name of the organization, the care, who is going to be taking care of this application. Then also the address of the organization, the city, the zip code, the state, the EIN of the organization. Remember, I told you you can get your EIN from the IRS website. And let me make sure that I will link that somewhere below, the irs.gov, and then where you go to apply for the EIN, because it's going to be like it's inside of it's going to be a blue radio button that you can click. You have to do it between certain hours. If not, the terminal is closed, but it's the EIN assistant. And I'll make sure that I link that somewhere below. So you are going to need your EIN to move forward. That's going to be step 1 before you even come into this terminal. Also, you can say when you want your tax year to end. Normally, I just do mine in December. Some people do theirs in July. Some people do theirs in November. Just depends on when you want your business tax to end. Also, this is the personal contact, which I just listed myself, but you can list whoever is going to be taking care, whoever is going to be contacted if they need any more information. So this needs to be someone who knows the structure of the business and how the business will be outlined. You want to have the contact information, a fax number if so, but you don't need a fax number to move forward. You can leave this. It can be just optional. The fee is $275 for the nonprofit 501c to file in the terminal the day you file. Also, you want to be able to list your board of directors. That's going to be next. You can list however many you have for your officers, directors, or trustee of the company. But you at least have to put one. I just made something up. You have to put their contact information. Then you can go to next. Remember, as you're in the terminal, if you need to, you can save. They have a radio button to save because you do have a login. And then also you can view the PDF file and print it out just for your records as well. Always recommend printing everything out. So this is going to be step 1 of 6. This is your eligibility requirements and identification of the applicants. So in this is where you do want to check this box to make sure that you attest it to completing. I feel like we already did. I do this one? Okay, I think this is just going back. No. Okay. Step 2, I think I already did that one. I must have had an extra slide. So step 2 of 6 is the organization structure. You want to choose whichever one of these structures best represent your company. I'm going to do an unincorporated association, which we have attached to a Georgia articles of incorporation, but you can also attach this to a trust or a C corp or S corp, which is going to be your corporation. This is going to be your articles of incorporation for an LLC. Also, for checkbox number 2, you want to make sure you check that to say that you attest to organizing the documents necessary for the organization structure indicating above. This is going to be the date that you want it to, for your incorporations that was formed. Also, the state. And below is the section 501(c)(3) that your organization documents must list. They must limit your purposes to one or more exemption purposes within section 501(c)(3). So I do know to even move forward, you have to check all of these boxes, but you want to make sure that your organization understands and that you are going to be in compliance when it comes to agreeing to these, because you can't move forward if you don't agree to these check boxes. So you have to, in order to even complete the application, agree. So you can't just say, oh no, I don't agree. Like, so just save it, make sure you copy it, and understand that under this section 501(c)(3 that you're organizing, you must provide this information if they ask for it in an audit at any time, and you're telling them that you do have these documents. And this is not to scare you. It's just to make sure that you have your financials and have your documentation together if in case you ever get audited, because you are going through and you are establishing an entity and you're saying that you have this material to establish an entity, and they're just making sure because they don't have anywhere for you to upload these documents right now. They're not going to review these documents right now. There's just in the event that you're audited, they want to make sure that you have this documentation. And I feel that because I am a tax professional, I just want to make sure that you know that just in case. Um, the the 3 out of 6 steps is you want to be specific for your activities within your organization, and remember you only have a limit of 250 characters. This is something that I just came up with to move us forward. But you do have a limit within here. Also, you have an NTEE code that you want you to look up. The one that I chose was S30, which is economic development. I will also have a link somewhere around here where you can just go and look at a few of the codes. You only have access to those codes, so you have to choose one of those categories that best fits your nonprofit 501(c)(3 establishment. Going into question 3, you just, these are check boxes. You check whichever boxes refer to your organization that best fits you. Going into question 4, they want to make sure that, and I can't read this because it's so blurry, and I'm sure it's blurry on your end, but at least you can get a gist of how the application works. I just did a screenshot because I couldn't go inside of the Canva to an external website, and the camera grows with it. So I just want you guys to at least get an idea of a step-by-step guide of how the application looks if you apply online. Remember, you can also download the 1023 Easy form, and you can handwrite it in and you can send it in the mail to apply. Also, I know that they have a contact information that I listed below that can help you for free to apply for the 501(c)(3 as well with the actual IRS. So I don't know if they give you legal advice, but they can at least let you know general questions. These are some more radio questions that you have to answer yes or no to even move the application forward. So they're just asking questions like, are you going to pay your officers or directors? And you want to make sure that you really think about this, because these are this is your handbook that you're creating right now. This is your policies that you are governing for the 501c3 establishment. So this is like your code of conduct that is concrete. Not saying concrete, because you can change it at any time. Whenever you have a meeting, you just update your meeting notes, you update the internal documents, you document in compliance, and then you can change from there. But just answer these questions to the best of your ability as you're opening it. Also, I know I feel like I've been so stern. I just want to be relaxed and let you know that it's not that serious. That's why I wanted to do this step by step, because you're already paying $275 in the terminal to move forward. So for individuals such as myself, that's great with applications and don't want to pay extra for someone to fill out an application. I want to make sure you have an idea of how the application looks. So I don't want you to get discouraged when applying. I want to make sure you have all the entities set up to apply and to establish a 501c3 approved organization so you can apply for funding and have access to charitable exemptions that you qualify for doing this work. Any work with closing any disparity is definitely important and needed, and you need to establish the entity. This is just more questions. They want to make sure you're not, if you're doing bingo and other gaming activities, they just want to know. You can hit yes. You don't have to hide anything. You can be open and honest. This is how you can fundraise. If you're going to have unrelated business growth of more than $1,000 to the nonprofit, you can say yes. You just have to produce receipts. If you're not, you can say no. You just have to answer these questions to the best of your ability. If this is a thought that you're doing now and how you organize the business, and then you want to change it because board members say, hey, we don't want to have unrelated business activities through this nonprofit at all, you can write that in and then say no and change that. So if you're ever to get audited, you have your internal documents and you say, hey, we changed it on this day. We had 5 members voted for it. We had community stakeholders that wanted to know more about it, or our round table circle, which we can talk about how to set that up in another time. We discussed and we wanted to change that. Also, just asking, would you provide disaster relief? Just more questions, just making sure that you go over that. This is building the foundation classification, which is step 4. Here, you have to choose one of 3 of the questions on 2 that describes about your organization funding sources. So you can't choose all 3, but you have to choose at least one. If you have any questions, get a free initial consultation with our team and we can go over that with you. As I mentioned, this is the section where you only can choose 1 or 3 of those check boxes. And it's just asking if you qualify for public charity status, and then check the appropriate 2A through 2C below and skip part 5 below if you check one of those. So on part 3 down here, if you didn't check any of these, you have to attest to this right here. And if so, then you can just leave it blank and go to next. But 1 of 4 of these buttons have to be highlighted in order for you to go to the next page in the portal. And you want to make sure you fill out the application if you're doing a paper application in that manner too, because you don't want them to send it back. This is step 5 of 6. And this is just asking, are you reinstating after a automatic revocation? So that's just saying like something happened, you got revoked, and you're just trying to reestablish the 501c3. You can hit one of these radio buttons. If not, if this is your first time ever applying, act like you didn't even see this and just go to the next page. You want to sign. If you put someone else's name in here that was not on the application, you will not be able to move forward. So this name has to match the exact way you wrote it in the first portal. So I wouldn't be able to use to read here if I use Taran the other way. Also, they want you to list what your authority and the signee is. So you want to make sure you go to the bottom button of the radio and write in what your title is, however you see fit. Also, if you were setting up a trust, it would say trustee here, but it could be a director. I should have wrote in director or something like that. Then it's going to have the date, which is going to be today's date. And then there's going to ask for your bank account information. So you can pay that $275 to establish the 501c3. This is how those radio buttons look. I didn't fill them in. I kind of stopped right here. This is where I listed the contact information for the IRS to do the account services for any questions that you may have. Their number is 877-829-5500. The benefits of setting up a 501c3 is a tax exemption. Perhaps the most notable benefit of that 501c3 organization are the exemption from federal income taxes on or your income related to those exemption purposes. This includes donation, fundraising activities, and revenue generated from activities directly related to the organization's mission. Tax deductible contributions, donors who contribute to 501c3 organizations can typically deduct their donations from their federal income tax. I feel like I already said that, but this also gives you access to grants. It gives you access to public trust and credibility, exemption from certain state taxes, and discounted postal services and rates. Also, access to certain benefits and services. So, we can also give you a free ebook on the benefits of setting up. Remember, I mentioned to you guys the types of 501c3 organizations, where there's a 501c2, which is a title holding organization for exemption organizations. Also, there is a 501c4, which is a civil league and civil welfare organization and local. Let me take a breath. I feel like I was going fast there. Association of Employees. Also, there's a 501c5, which is a labor agriculture and organization. I'm sorry, guys. I had to get something to drink. How to get started with us. If you want us to help you, we can do an initial consultation. We can do a complete assessment for your nonprofit, help you establish your goals, your mission, your vision, activities to help you generate funds. During this consultation, we can gather information about the consumer's organizations, including its purpose, planning activities, governance structures, and financial statements. We also can help the consumer setting up the organization meet the eligibility criteria of the 501c3 tax exemption. So we can help you apply through the IRS website. We can help you do your charitable donations. We can educate you and inform you, so we can provide you with a comprehensive information about the requirements and the benefits of obtaining a 501c3 tax exemption. We can explain the IRS regulations governing tax exemption organizations, including the types of activities permitted and prohibited by the 501c3 organizations. We love educating our consumers about the application process, timelines, potential challenges they may encounter. We would love to help you prepare and gather documentation, assist the consumer in preparing and gathering necessary documentation and information required for the 501c3 application. This may include organizing documentation such as articles of incorporation, bylaws, conflict of interest policies, as well as financial records, budgets, and project descriptions, ensuring all documentation is accurate and complete and up to date. We also can help this At the last step, we'll complete and submit the application, guide the consumer through the process of completing the 501c3 application, whether it's the Form 1023 or the Form 1023EZ, help the consumer with accurate filling out the requirements. Excuse me, guys, I had to give me something to drink. Fields and provide details as needed. We are just here to help you all. If you need any help, just let us know. Our goal here with the Best Business Practice podcast, powered by Lenders Plus Financial Firm and Partners, is to provide access to free resources, step-by-step guides, financial guides to do it yourself, creating sustainable communities through information, resources, and partnerships, access to financial products and services to ensure financial portfolios, and putting the fun back in funding. We are super excited. You can stay tuned to how to maintain your nonprofit and the next steps to ensuring you have an established the 501c3 in its entirety. That can be our next video, so stay tuned for that. And then also, we want to thank you for tuning into our slide deck today to this presentation, listening on the podcast or the YouTube. A great way to contact our financial firm. You can call us at 818-296-9702, or you can email us at info@lendersplusfinancial.com. You can also visit our website at www.lendersplusfinancial.com. You can also write us the P.O. Box 912 Savannah, Georgia 314. We are super excited. We're finished. We got this done. So let us know what you guys think and download the PDF files somewhere below. We look forward to hearing from you all and have a nice and lovely day.